achieved.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Studio de Jeffrey. Carson Wentz is officially the backup quarterback in Philadelphia. We will talk about that, as well as previewing the Cowboys and the Raiders and talking about the biggest problem in the NFC East. That is my plan for today. And I got a couple of questions from you guys I checked. So leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow at youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh, and I will try to take care of you. Of course, also check out 1053thefan.com every day. Now, what I want to start with is Carson Wentz is benched. Jalen Hurts is the starting quarterback for the Eagles. And, you know, on G-Bag Nation 2-7 on 105.3 The Fan and DFW, your home with the Cowboys, we do like to laugh at the misfortune of our rivals. So if you want to get a feel free. They had to bench Carson Wentz. And here's why. He's played so poorly that they, unfortunately, are going to have to figure out how to move on from him. And part of that plan has to be finding out if Jalen Hurts can play. And there's not a lot of time left. So Jalen Hurts, for them, has to start every game for the rest of the season, I think. Unless it's an absolute train wreck and they go, whoops, we missed there, he can't play. Jalen Hurts has to play every game. And here's the reason. Howie Roseman is the Eagles' general manager. Howie Roseman is super aggressive in team building in terms of restructuring contracts, moving money around to try to add guys, trading picks for players who make a lot of money, and eventually that catches up to you. Well, for the Eagles, it catches up next year. Next year, the salary cap is going to be somewhere between $175 and $195 million. The Eagles currently have $265 million on the books next year. So depending what the cap is, they're either $90 million or $70 million over. You're not allowed to be over. They have to get under. Well, how are they going to do that? Carson Wentz is uncuttable. If you cut Carson Wentz, it costs you $60 million. It costs you $34.5 million to keep him. If you can find somebody to take Carson Wentz in a trade, and they probably will, they're going to save $1 million. They're still almost $70 million over. So they're going to have to get super creative with trading veterans that make a lot of money to save just part of their money. I don't want to get into the salary cap minutia, but just know that most of their big money guys, for instance, Darius Slay, uncuttable. Javon Hargrave, uncuttable. Lane Johnson, uncuttable. Fletcher Cox, almost uncuttable. Alshon Jeffrey's an easy release to save $8 million. But they got to get that $70 million down. And Wentz can't even really help them do that. But they have to be looking to their future and how it's going to look. And they need to know if Jalen Hurts can be part of that. Because having a quarterback who makes nothing for the next 3 years will help pull them out of this. They're going to have to get off the Carson Wentz contract with a trade. They're going to have to figure out, can Jalen Hurts play? Because with where their record is right now, the Eagles have to be thinking, are we drafting a quarterback? They have to figure that out. Are we drafting one? Or are we going to try the Jalen Hurts thing? Because this is a good quarterback draft. Do they need to be involved in it? Or can Jalen Hurts show them enough to say, let's just wait and see? That's what they have to find out. And so we did this segment on the radio yesterday on 105.3 The Fan, where I went through all the different teams in the division to say, who is your biggest competition for the next few years? And the answer is Philadelphia's sunk. Their salary cap screwed. Totally. They can restructure some things and move some things around and maybe free up 20, 30 million. Great. You still got 35 to go. So then you'll cut Alshon Jeffrey. Maybe you'll cut Deshaun Jackson. Great. You still got 25 to go. Like, they're going to have a fire sale of trading some veterans, cutting some older guys. But a lot of their money's not cuttable, like I said. So the Eagles are in a bad spot. They don't know if they have a quarterback, and their salary cap effed. So they're dead. New York Giants. They have a little bit of cap space, but when you look at their roster, meh. They might win the division this year, but when you look at their roster, meh. And they have a little bit of cap space, like $7 million. So they'll do some things in the offseason, maybe get rid of some guys, and they'll have some money to play with. But when I look at the Giants, who are their cornerstone players? That's my thing. How's the coaching staff? How's the quarterback? Who are the cornerstone players? And for them, are their cornerstone players James Bradbury at corner? He's a good player. Leonard Williams a cornerstone? Is Kevin Zeitler a cornerstone? Is Andrew Thomas a cornerstone? Is Daniel Jones a cornerstone? I don't know. So that team is not your biggest competition. Your biggest competition is the Washington football team, because the Washington football team has some cornerstones. Brandon Scherf on the offensive line, Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson is a super good young running back, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Fuller at corner. Washington's the squad. They're quarterback away, but Washington is the squad that you got to worry about. So that bangs out Jalen Hurts being named the Eagles starter. Laugh at the misfortune of your rivals. That bangs out your biggest divisional problem. And finally, previewing Cowboys-Ravens. New York jumped up, beat a good team. Washington jumped up and beat a good team. Is Dallas next? My answer is no. The Ravens' defense has been decent this year, not great, but the players that they put on the field, to me, presents way too big a problem for what the Cowboys are running at offensive line right now. They got 3 corners that can play. So they got a good secondary. They got a good enough front to give the Cowboys' offensive line trouble. I believe the Cowboys are in trouble. Cowboys are in trouble tonight. And they're going to lose this one, which if you know me, you'll know that's a good thing. I got my Captain Trade Down t-shirts. They'll be here at some point. I'll be rocking those bad boys. If you are into way too early mock drafts, just go to my YouTube channel, and you can see me run through a couple different trade down scenarios and one scenario with no trades, and you can decide which is the best. And what you're going to find is that Captain Trade Down's got a ride, baby. So that's what that is. All right, let's get to your mailbag. Jeff, if Tyron retires and we own the 3rd overall pick, is Penei Sewell a lock? That's King Schultz. Yes. If Tyron were to retire and you had the 3rd overall pick, assuming it's Trevor Lawrence, Clemson quarterback goes first, and then either Justin Fields at Ohio State or Zach Wilson, assuming it goes quarterback, which it likely would because it's Jets and Jags, then I would imagine the Cowboys, if you didn't have Tyron, would take Penei Sewell if you have the opportunity to pick him. And Cincy would probably take him if they are at 3rd overall. So we shall see. Mr. Cool Man, Jeff loved the show. If we draft a cornerback with the 1st draft pick, does that mean we don't re-sign Cheeto? Not necessarily. I think what's going to happen with Cheeto, at least what the Cowboys should do with Cheeto, is let this year play out and see what his market is. Because right now, cornerback is the most desperate need for the Cowboys. Cheeto's contract is going to be up, so is Jordan Lewis. So you're going to be left with at corner, essentially on your roster, Trayvon Diggs and Anthony Brown, that are actual NFL corners, not guys who just happen to have stepped on the field this year, but actual corners. You'll have 2. And you need 3 at a time on a field, and you need at least 5 that can play because people get hurt. So they're going to be super short at corner. So what they should do with Cheeto is they should see what the market is. And if the market is cheap enough, Cheeto's an NFL starter. I don't think he's a good NFL starter, but he's an NFL starter. Look around the league. Secondaries, there's so many secondaries in the NFL that are awful. Cheeto's a starter. So if you could have that starter for like the Anthony Brown money, I think he got like 2 years and $8 million. If you could get Cheeto for like $4 million a year, then you bring him back. And you don't let that stop you from picking at least one corner with a premium pick. That's another reason that Captain Trade Down has to ride. You accumulate picks to where, and you can see it again in the mocks that I was doing last night, where you can pick a corner in the middle or end of the 1st round. You can pick another corner somewhere in the 2nd round, and that's okay because you got 2 or 3 other picks in the top 60. And so that way, bam, I addressed my corners. Oh, and I've got this extra pick laying around where I could add a safety to this team. Oh, and looky there, an extra pick I've got laying around where I can add an offensive tackle to this team. And all those guys will have a chance to turn into players. I'm trying to add darts. That is the goal for my team building for the Cowboys. Now, remember, mash the thumbs up button, mash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh. Make sure you're checking 1053thefan.com every day. And I need you in the comments, not just for the algorithm, although for the algorithm, but I need you in the comments for what do you want to hear about tomorrow? I need to know. Help me help you. And we'll talk Cowboys, we'll talk draft, we'll talk NFC East, we'll talk whatever. But for now, the story is that the Eagles are sunk. Tough break. All right, I'll catch you guys on the radio, and maybe I'll pop on live or something during the Cowboy game. Just make sure you're subscribed, and we'll party. Okay, I love you. Bye.